What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm sorry that last week I didn't put up a video because I'm currently still studying and I had a lot of tests last week, so I was unable to. But I'm back right now, and there are many juicy news coming in regarding the US CPI data coming out and a lot of data-driven events in this week. And so a lot of things will be happening, and that will definitely move the markets, equities, and Bitcoin alike. So I'll be mainly talking about Bitcoin in this video, and then briefly talking about some altcoins that I'm looking at. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's just get this video going. Let's start off in the high time frame on Bitcoin. We'll start off from the weekly chart, right? As always, we always start from the bigger time frame to the smaller time. So as you can see, this is a brand new chart of Bitcoin because I want it to be much cleaner so that info can be processed much easier compared to a messy chart. So over here, I've marked up the range highs and the range lows from the overall picture of Bitcoin. All right, range highs, range low, and this is the midpoint, basically half of this entire move down. And then when zooming in, I marked again the range lows, range highs. Okay, and this yellow line is the midpoint. Zooming in a little bit more, this first red line is the midpoint of this entire move down. As you can see, I draw the fib over here to this level. Exactly over here, this is the 0.5 retracement and this is the 0.618 levels. And I have marked these two levels right here. Okay, so over the past week, Bitcoin went all the way down to around the 18,600 levels and then pumped all the way back up above to 21,800 levels. This entire weekly candle is looking very bullish. Okay, it took out all the stops over here that people had from weeks ago or months ago and then pumped all the way back above 21,800. So just looking at the weekly candle itself last week, it's a bullish sign because this week alone took out all the stop losses over here, and then after taking out the stop losses, it went back up again, and the candle is a huge candle engulfing the previous two weekly candles. This is a bullish sign. And during the last week, when Bitcoin was trading at around the 18,600 regions, I was calling for a Bitcoin bullish divergence, where I think this was just a short-term drop to take out all the stop losses over here, and then we pump back at least to 22k. Over here on Twitter and my own personal Discord, I called this out. I was saying that there was a bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart over here. You can see in the real chart, okay, it's having lower lows, lower highs, but on the RSI level, it was having high lows, higher highs. So my main targets were firstly target 1, 21k, and target 2, 21.8k to around 22k regions. So going back to the charts, why those targets? Because the main 21k regions was around over here. Okay, it was around the mid-range of this entire huge range. And 22k levels was because I believe that there were a lot of stops over here. Bitcoin usually takes out the stops first and then we start going to the direction that we want. But anyway, that was last week's analysis and both targets were hit very nicely. Okay, zooming into the daily chart. As you can see, last Friday's daily candle was super huge, okay, where firstly, it bottomed out over here, as I mentioned on the previous timeline on the weekly chart. Okay, here we can see it clearer. On the daily, took out all the stops right below this level, around the 18.6k regions, just took it out barely, and then we start going back up. And then on Friday, we had a huge daily candle to the upside, basically engulfing all these daily candles, almost 1 week worth of daily candles, just destroyed them and engulfed them. And my main targets were around 22k because, again, as I mentioned previously, there were a lot of stops over here, and this morning we just taken out all these stops, and now we are reacting with the midpoint of this entire range. As I remember, I marked out this red line over here. This was the mid range of this level to this level. Okay, so usually price reacts at the range highs, range lows, and also the midpoint, which we are reacting right now. Okay, so my main targets for Bitcoin has already been hit. What do I think will happen next? Okay, at first, okay, let me bring back my other chart with a lot of lines and stuff, but it's easier to see where I want to mark out. Okay, previously my plans were that I take the longs to around 22Ks, take profits, and then I'll start looking for shorts. But because tomorrow there's a CPI data and many other US data coming out this week, I wouldn't take my shorts so quickly because I believe CPI will be a positive thing for equities and Bitcoin. Okay, so as you can see, Bitcoin pushed up to the upside really quickly, and therefore I am less certain about the shorts right now. Why do I not want to take shorts right now? Is because I think CPI will be positive tomorrow, and that will push up equities and Bitcoin. Okay guys, so the reason why I am bullish on the CPI and why I think inflation would start to head down and be lower than expected is because my main indicator will be crude oil. This is crude oil's chart. Right now, crude oil has broken the bullish trend line that I've marked out since the lows over here on April 2020, and then I connected to the the higher low, and then it has recently broken down, broken down from the support, retested, and starting to look like it's going even lower. Therefore, the main commodities, including oil, is starting to go down, and it has been trending down the past 2 months, and therefore that's an indicator that inflation is kind of peaking and is starting to look to the downside as well. Therefore, I am more certain that the CPI data will be bullish for crypto and equities, and that's my reasoning for that. This is my main indicator. Alright, so actually, without all those data, if there wasn't any data released this week, I would gladly be looking to short at this area because this was the ascending range I was talking about many times already. Right now, it's so nice, pushed up all the way to the lower end of the range, and it's retested this level. Okay, so normally if there wasn't any CPI release or these major events, I would be looking for shorts over here to short it down because this was such a nice retest. But right now, because there's a CPI and I think it's bullish, therefore I wouldn't look for shorts until the data releases tomorrow, and we'll see from there. But right now, my plans have changed. I am looking for longs and longs only unless tomorrow's CPI is bad. Okay, so right now, moving into the 4 hours so we can look for trade ideas. Okay, let me just close this flip so it's cleaner. Alright, so right now we have taken out all these stops. So I believe right now we would experience a kind of a small dip before the CPI release, and that I think would happen today or tomorrow morning. Alright, I've drawn this trend line from the lower end, okay, and I see Bitcoin at least retracing back to the at least 20,700 regions or 20,800 regions, because that was the previous range low over here, and it's a very good support and a strong support, I would say. So if there was a retest, I expect the retest to come here at around 20,800 levels. Alright, or at most I can see it coming to at around 20,300 levels, which is the top of the range. So even if it comes all the way back down here, I am still bullish as long as it quickly reclaims the 20,700. Let's say it drops below, retest this 20,300, come back up, retest this 20,700, and then I'm still I'm still long on Bitcoin. But if it comes down, comes to retest, but does not break the 20,700 and starts to come back down, then let's say if I long from here, I would close out my long position over here and then start looking for shorts. If Bitcoin hangs at this level at around 20,300, alright, comes back into the range, I'll start looking for shorts over here, and it breaks below 20k again, then that confirms the short bias. Alright, so right now, my trade ideas would be anything above 20,300 for Bitcoin, I would take longs. Alright, if it comes back down, retest this level and so nicely just retest this trend line as well, create some sort of a double bottom whatsoever, such a great opportunity to long, I would take this long as well. So one over here, or it comes all the way back to 20,300, form some sort of support and then longs to the upside also. Alright, okay, so my first targets for all these longs would be definitely the 23k regions, around the 22,700, 23k regions, because, alright, let's move back to the weekly chart. I've drawn a trend line, a downtrend from the 69k highs, okay, connecting with the lower high, and then now we are approaching that level as well. Plus, we are finally about to retest this 21 weekly EMA and 34 weekly EMA, which we have talked about so many times, that will either make or break the Bitcoin's chart, because whenever we go above or below, it causes a huge move to either side, right? So my first targets would definitely be around the 22,700 to 23k regions. As I mentioned in my previous video, let's say if Bitcoin starts to break above 23k and starts holding at support level, I will continue longing until at least the 25k highs. And then we will talk about it when the time comes. Okay, but right now these are my plans. Mostly looking for longs only because I think CPI will be bullish. So I think that data itself will push Bitcoin equities up to around the previous highs or whatsoever. And why we cannot count out the retesting the 25k highs again is because, as I mentioned, we are approaching the 21 and 34 EMA levels. Right now, the EMA is hovering around the 25,600 levels. And I would not be surprised if we have a pullback today or tomorrow morning, and then we start pushing up all the way to the 25k highs with the positive CPI data, taking up all these stops, plus retesting this key EMA level around 25,600, and then we can start looking for shorts if price just bounce up, cause deviation and starts coming back down. But I'll talk about that if price manages to reach that area, and then we will see from there. Okay, so these are my main plans. Let me reiterate. Go to the 4-hour. All right. Main plans will be first level long 20,800. First target will be at least 23k. Okay. Second target, the highs at 25k. Second long opportunity will be around the range highs 20,300. Same thing, first target 23k, and then next target 25k. Okay, and the safer longs, okay, I wouldn't say safer longs, but if price manages to hold above 23k, then that is your long trigger again, back to the highs. If you guys are wondering when would I want to short, let's say if price is unable to break above 22,700, 23k, and let's say price does this, it pushes up all the way, fails to break, comes back down, try to push again but fails, causing a lower high, then here, this could be your short trigger. But I don't think that will happen. We'll see from there. I will address this when the time comes. Alright, so make sure to follow my Twitter and my Discord. I'll post updates, but mainly on my Discord first, then Twitter, I'll see how. But yeah, these are my triggers for longs and my shorts. I'll cater more to longs. And anyway, if you want to know what am I doing, what am I trading, and when I'm entering, etc., you can join my Discord. I'll mainly post on my Discord first, then Twitter. I caught on my Discord. Okay, I saw the bullish divergence over here at the 18,600 regions. And because my main bias was to the long side, I took a long on Matic. Okay, I took a long at this area around 81 cents. It was previous support over here, and then we have a massive push. Therefore, it interacted so well at this level again. Therefore, I took this long at 81 cents, and I took all my profits at around 90 cents region. My main target was around 94 cents, but I'll be glad to just take profits over here because I think there's a small pullback soon. Therefore, I'll just close everything. Alright, so I took a long over here. I already called it on Discord, so check it out. On ETH, my main target as well, I've been long ETH since I don't know when. Since these lows over here, I was calling for my main targets of 1800 and we are just barely short of like 10 points over here. So I've closed most of my ETH position at around 1780 regions. Right now, same thing as Bitcoin, I'm expecting a little pullback maybe down to around the 16,050 regions. Okay, and at this level it's a very strong support. Price has bounced here, has a lot of reactions at this level itself. Bounce here, okay, deviation, comes back up, retest this level, push all the way up to 20k regions, comes back down, deviation, and then deviates, push all the way down again, comes back up, deviates, push back down, comes back here, push all the way up. So this is a very strong key level. So I'm looking for price to stabilize over here and then we start pushing back at least right now to around 1900s, where we could form a potential lower high and also testing the retracement levels 0.786 and also testing the higher time frame downtrend line, which I've drawn from the highs of around almost 5k, the lower high, and now we're approaching that key level again. Plus, again, similar to Bitcoin, we are approaching the key EMA again, right at around the 18,030 regions. Okay, for ETH, I still think we at least hit 1900s. I'm already mostly out of my positions, so I'll just look for reactions after CPI release and then I'll update from there. So just to add on, if you guys want to know about what are the economic data that will be coming out every single week, I use forexfactory.com. Alright, it helps me so much because it just tells me exactly what time and what data is about to be released, and I filter out to mainly pound, USD, and JPY news, and I only look at the major economic data releases. So over here, Monday to Friday, we have all these red files. This means that it's a major data release. Tomorrow, as I already said, CPI release will be at around 8:30 PM in my time. Basically, 8:30 PM my time is 8:30 AM Eastern. So you just convert over there. And then on Wednesday, again, we have PPI data for USD at 8:30 AM Eastern. On Thursday, we have core retail sales and same time 8:30 AM Eastern. And on Friday, we have the prelim UOM consumer sentiment. Again, this week is filled with US economy data. Therefore, most of the moves on crypto and equities will be data driven. So yeah, take note of this. And yeah, that's it. Okay. So hope this video helps you guys out. Alright, this is just my rough analysis of Bitcoin and what's to come. And if you guys want a macro breakdown of Bitcoin and what are my plans for the next few months whatsoever, do leave a comment down below if you would like that, or you can tell me personally on my Discord or Twitter, and yeah, I will consider doing it because it's fun breaking down charts and stuff. Alright, that's about it. Hope this video finds you well, and remember, the markets are always here, but your capital may not. Peace.